Good morning. I'm starting a new stream today, some Game Dev Live. I'm working on a samurai game, but what's on the screen right now is not a samurai game. It's just a little Pac-Man prototype I made in this kind of prototype project where I was working for a little while. So it has kind of some like little, I forget if I ever did anything in components for this, but it was, I guess I got caught. It was built in a way to try to like make extendable classes and stuff like that, so and I'll show you what I mean. So right now there's these ghosts, and they kind of have a particular way of chasing the player and like losing them and stuff like that. So they are set up to work like a stealth game, basically. Oh yeah, I forgot, I'm powered up. Yeah, so my goal was basically just to recreate Pac-Man as much as I could, so yeah, I thought this was pretty cool to get to the end. I think it goes on forever. I don't think it changes the levels. Can't remember. One thing that I did that I felt, I don't know if it was janky or what, but it was actually kind of janky to set up, is all of the coins are generated on a spline. So clever, I don't know, but kind of cool. It was like a way to add areas for coins to spawn. So yeah, so in this file I have a couple other ones. So like if you've watched my channel, I think I've posted, I don't know if I've posted like the newest iteration of my tank game, but this was like the beginning of the tank game. Pretty janky, but and then let's see if the stealth map still works. So this was pretty cool if it's working. So it's like a little dark map, and there's lights with colliders that actually like make you more visible to the enemies, and there's enemies throughout the area too. So let's just play and see. Oh, now I'm a tank. Oh man, what? Okay. I don't know if the... So now I'm like in this light. It's a dead end. No. Alright, I don't want to be this tank. Let's go back and see if I can fix the player character. There should be like... I did not name it base character. Let's try this one. Yeah, so this is the one I was using for the player character in here. So see, you can see over his head it says hidden, but if you step into the light it says visible. So you can kind of, and so I think it's set up right now that I guess if even if they have a flashlight on you, they don't see you, but now my system's not gonna work. I think they definitely need to be. All right, let's see. I don't know if they're actually working. They work. They used to work. Yeah. Are they completely blind? Maybe. Okay. So anyway, it's supposed to. They're supposed to chase you. I don't know why, but it's been a while since I've worked on this. And the idea was. What new map is? No. New map. Good. Okay. All right. Chaos testing was shooting stuff at a wall. It happens so fast though. You can do the simulation. I think I was testing like I'm testing like edge pieces, I think. Why is this one? This one seems to be going the. Can I not move this? Oh, some of them bounce, it looks like. And then some of them are. I think I have a. This piece in here holds that part of the mesh together. So. Maybe this ball is just not big enough. One of these is actually breaking stuff. That one? Okay. So like if you control duplicate that, move it over here, let's see. I wonder why only that side breaks. Anyway, experiments with chaos physics in Unreal like 5.1 or something, so maybe it's gotten better. And then what's shooter? Let's see. Oh, I'm just how do I cancel? Clear. Alright, some little guy, I guess, saying hello. Alright, well, here, finally, some AI that's actually able to chase us. I'm not sure why this is a shooter. Maybe it just was a way to test the AI before it became the stealth game, I guess. That doesn't work. Alright, so, as you can see, similar naming conventions for my folders. Try to do that. What do we got here? We have a state enum. So yeah, I'm pretty sure if you look at this ghost blueprint, you know, it has some logic in here, but it's a class. It's based off another class. So the main logic here is specific to the ghost to like set up its color, I guess. And also the colors are dynamic because we change every ghost to blue when you get the power pellet. So that's what's happening there. And then I guess there's a respawn, but that's literally all that's in this, I guess. Let's see. Yeah. So we could go to the enemy class. And there's a lot more stuff in here. So yeah, so I had this set up to change color for the AI event. So yeah, the enemy class got a little crazy. So but it has like some blueprint-based AI for choosing an action. It has this sensing that, I don't know, doesn't seem to work, but maybe it's because the player is kind of always hidden. And it has stuff for what to do if you lose the target. It has a wander mode. Chase mode and idle mode. Looks like I was in the middle of debugging something, I guess. An investigation mode. You could hear noise or yeah, so I think I was playing around with different things here, but you could see the player, you could hear the player, things like that. It was just this kind of basic thing that you could override. So this was like the AI logic that was not a behavior tree in here. So anyway, I thought I'd look at that just to see what we had. But the reason I was doing that was because I was thinking about starting to move this dash attack into a component, and I think we're at a fine point at this point. So we still need to do like actually causing damage to the enemies, which is not huge, and then also like triggering different types of animations. So but I think like the dash movement that we have here probably can be extrapolated. So and this is like the state of it right now. Yesterday we were kind of debugging the like how many times it hits the enemy, right? So in the hit, we basically trace with the sphere. We do 2 traces now. One trace will check to see how far we can actually dash, and then we change the dash amount to be that. And then the second trace is trying to trace against all the pawns in your way. And we capture those hits into an array. And what we discovered yesterday was that these multi-sphere traces, which are set up to allow you to capture a more than one hit, which for me is what I need. I need to have more than one hit, not just the first hit, which a lot of like hit scanning weapons and stuff like that, it's like whatever the first thing it hits is the thing, right? But like a multi-sphere might be useful for like a railgun or something where it just goes through everything. And the issue with it is that it will hit an actor multiple times. So like you'll fill this array with like 14 the same actor. Okay, so if you're then iterating on that loop later, you might be doing the you might be like executing some code on that actor 15 times or something. So you got to be careful with that. So what I did was I took it, because I don't think we can do it here, but we can loop through the array that we got and just create another array, yay, that is the hit actors that we hit, right? And you can loop through it and add unique. If you add unique, you only get one per actor. So you can, and I don't know how expensive all this is. You are iterating through and depending on how many enemies we have in front of us, it could be, you know, like 50 hits or something like that. But yeah, I'm having a hard time seeing, you know, I guess you could program on the other side where when you loop through the hit actors, you can just do something once per actor or something, but I think eventually you're going to have to loop through it and do something with it. And it's going to be during the dash because we need to cause damage or whatever. So, I mean, we could even, if we wanted to do the damage cycle, no, I don't think we could do that. We could, because we're going to loop through this original hit array no matter what. We have to get through all of it. So we wouldn't want to fire off damage here. So, yeah. Hello, Imran. Yeah, I'm just explaining kind of what ended up happening yesterday. So, and just how like we have this big array and we don't want to have to do the rest of the logic for the attack on these hits because they're redundant. There's too many of them that are the same actor. So this little piece of code is creating a new array with the hit actors, and it's making them only unique. So only one actor gets in there. So that should work. I don't know. Maybe we'll, you know, if we have like a attached sword or something, I don't know, maybe it will pick up that too. But I think at that point the sword won't take any damage, so maybe it should. So yeah, so we were thinking about taking all the stuff. This is just to print out what happened. So if we do it here, nothing happened. If we do it here, you can see the two red text pieces are the actual final array. But you can see we hit the player 2 base here like 10 times. If you try to hit a wall, you get nothing. So yeah, that's the plan, is to separate this out into an actor component. So where does one keep his actor components? I feel like this is like a character-based actor component. So like, would I make a new folder in characters called actor components? Or does it live kind of in its own folder here? Like if we go to like the engine, right? Like, or actually we don't have to go to the engine. We can go to, oh, I'm still in the engine, aren't I? Content, okay. If we go into our player and we look at the movement component, and we find it. Can we find it? Or is it just built into the engine for real? Car move comp. Yeah, like I don't think I can find it. Let's see. Let's do all. Well, okay, so this ArcViz thing has a yeah, I really wanted to, okay. Where is this located? How do I find it? Show in folder view. Okay, so I guess this ArcViz character, it's like there's a character class and then there's a actor movement component. I think it's an actor movement component. Yeah, it says character movement component. So they just put them together. But I feel like there's like a possibility, right, that these things are separate from characters. Although I don't know what else would dash other than a character. I'm gonna make a folder at the top level, because then like enemies could do it too, right? So let's make a folder here. We'll call it actor components. And then let's make one. All right, so to make an actor component, I think we just go into blueprint. And we go here to actor component. An actor component is a usable component that can be added to any actor. It's more than that, but there's also scene component. This scene component has a like a transform, I guess, and then the actual. I was looking this up earlier, and there's actually the other type is basically like meshes and stuff. Well, I don't know if meshes. Is it mesh one? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so they just call them primitive components. So I don't know if you can create your own version of a primitive component, but that would be one that would have like actual like you could put a cube. That'd be a primitive component. But can you make a custom primitive component? So I'm gonna call this AC. I think that's the correct thing. We'll call this AC dash movement. I guess the reason I want to call it dash movement is because, or I can call it dash component, I guess. Is that redundant? Because we have AC. So yeah, let's just call it dash movement. So this will give us should we call it dash attack? Because let's call it dash attack movement. Unless we want to make like a non-attack version of the dash and then have an attack version of the dash. I don't know. I'm getting way far ahead of myself. Yeah, I can. So Imran wants to know, I think, how I organize my folders. And okay, I'm gonna put dash attack here. Okay. So the basic thing I do is I make sure I have a folder called game inside content. And then if there's like other content like that I move in, I do like starter content or whatever, it all stays out here. And then I have a, and then so anything in this in the top level content folder, I need to figure out like which things need to be like saved in my Git large file storage, right? So it's important to kind of look at that stuff to make sure you have it organized. But like it's a little harder once you have like imported stuff, so you have to go and find their meshes and stuff. So that's kind of why I organized the way I'm organized. So this project doesn't have any imported content right now, but in my game folder I have a blueprints folder, a core folder, input, maps, material, mesh, textures, MISC I made yesterday, and I don't know, so far did I use it for anything? No. But you might need like something random in there, sound. And I would do more, probably. I'm trying to think of what else I will need. Sometimes you have like a data folder for like all of your data objects and stuff, because they might not fit neatly in like blueprints, I guess. And then so inside blueprints, I'm kind of trying to keep all of like the logic of whatever we've got. So right now we just have characters, but you could have like pickups in here, weapons in here, whatever is like an actual blueprint class. And then, but I keep all their like actual meshes and stuff separate, and same with materials and textures. And if you separate everything and don't have like all the things for a character in one folder, you can basically, when you set up your Git repository, you can say, all right, I want the sound folder and the texture folder and whatever other folder to be in the large file storage. So that's partly why I separated it out. Some people say like, oh, you should have like a folder for your player character, and then everything that has to do with player character is in there, and then, you know, including sound effects or whatever. But it makes it hard to separate for your repository if you do it that way. Then you have to go through and individually click stuff. So let's see, can I? Oh, I moved it. Let's see. Okay, I can. So if I go in here, I'm just gonna go to the. I'm gonna show you something here. Did that work? Okay. So I'm just going into my like project folder here. So if I go into my project folder, there's a file called git attributes. And let's see if we can open it up. All right. And this is how you set up the large file storage. So you'll see these are all the things that I have set up to be stored in the large file storage. So regular Git has like some like memory issues. Like the more you store in there, then the slower the pushes are and pulling down the version or whatever. So the large file storage does that. And you have to one Unreal project will like totally hit your data max for the large file storage, so you have to like pay $5 a month for it. But yeah, so like I have like that blood pack asset, right? So all of those like textures and shaders and things are in that. I have in my game folder, I have textures, sounds, mesh, and then yeah, these two are like asset packs. So everything in those asset packs, I just decided we'll just put it in large file storage rather than trying to figure out their folder. But I could get down into their folders and folder structure. Level prototyping was another kind of like starter stuff. I think it came with the top down. And the cursor, it had some textures and stuff. So I'm just trying to keep like anything that might be high memory, I put in there. And then yeah, so that's why I kind of organize it that way. Yeah, so this one has UI and VFX, so which I don't think I have in the other one. And so like VFX would be like your Niagara systems, so you can have all those in one place. And UI can be all your different UIs. And again, with the VFX, like the textures should be in a different place. And so this actually, I don't have the materials set up properly. Like these are in the wrong place. So like I would want to move that out, because that could, depending on how many textures and things we have, we probably want that separated out. So yeah, that's why we have it like this. So yeah, I can make a new folder right now, call it UI, and then one for VFX. Then the other part of organizing your project is you should have so the core is where I would put like a game mode type stuff, or like base classes. If I'm really getting deep with inheritance, you might have like your core character class in here or something, but I kind of like having them in their own section. But that was what I've seen recommended. But the other piece of this is going and finding there is a style guide for Unreal right here. And I can put this link in the chat if you want. So this style guide, he kind of, I forget if he talks about folders, but he talks about naming conventions. So, and this is like referenced like in tons of places. So, talks about like how to name certain things, like what the basics of it is. So, and I try to follow this. So I'll do prefixes, and then I try to do like the variants and stuff. Yeah, so like naming things like skeletal mesh SK, materials in M. Like what do you do when you have 100 rocks, things like that. I don't think I've ever named anything underscore gameplay, but I guess you could do that. Blueprints, widget blueprint. So I don't use the widget blueprint as my prefix. I actually use UI as my prefix because, I don't know, WBP doesn't mean anything to me most of the time. So, yeah. So AI controller is AIC. I was wondering if, animation component they have is AC. So what do they have for actor component? I used AC for actor component. Blueprint functional library. So no one uses actor components, so they didn't do it. They didn't make one for it. Is there one? Actor component. Nope. Okay, so yeah. Well, I'm not going to worry about it. I think if you're internally consistent, you're probably ahead of the game, because you can find stuff, right? You can do a search in your stuff for like, just give me all the BPs, right? Or like in this version, right? If I go up here and I type like ABP, give me all the animation blueprints, so I can pull up the ninja one or the samurai one, right? Or I want all the blueprints, and this will pull up all the blueprints if you use the search, so it doesn't matter what folder you're in. So if you label things properly with at least the prefixes, you can find everything. And then if you are internally consistent with the base name, like samurai or something, you'll get everything related to the samurai, hopefully, right? So that's how that works. Yeah. So yeah, they don't have, and so here's his folder structure. Maybe it's similar to mine. He's got art as his kind of folder for all the art, which that could be good. Instead of meshes and textures and materials, maybe he includes all this stuff together. That could be one way to do it. And then you could, just put that in your large file storage. But like in the, I store the animations with the mesh. So instead of VFX, he's got effects here, maps, material library, placeables. Yeah, so like I have a blueprint folder, and then inside the blueprint folder I might have something called placeables or pickups or weapons. I don't have them as top level stuff. So I don't know. Maybe that's what makes my my builds fail at some point. I have too many too many folders or something. Yeah, he talks about how like marketplace stuff, like having all your stuff separate means that you can have you keep your stuff separate from marketplace, and then you don't get they don't get confused. So yeah, this is a good file to look at. Yeah, even like naming variables and things like that. This is also interesting. So I break some of these rules, not on purpose, but I haven't internalized everything. So, all right. But yeah, it's cool. Not only is it good for Unreal, but in some ways it gets you thinking about how to set up your code. Like if you're doing coding professionally, you can kind of look at a style guide like this and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. You're welcome. So there's also lots of long and boring books about it too, so about how to name your stuff. Okay, let's do it. Let's make an actor component. We already made it, so got about 20 minutes to try to do something. So, all right, put it in the characters. Put it in here. Okay. All right. So the thing about an actor component is it doesn't know what it is, right? So, but it does have a tick, and it does have a begin play. I wish those things just didn't have default comments. Okay. It's like super beginner, like the first time you ever open Unreal, maybe it should have it, but like, man, it never goes away. Okay. So in here, the first thing that I would do is probably like get owner, right? And this will be an actor, right? So let's promote that to a variable. And we'll call this, we'll just call it owner. We'll use the same. So now we have a reference immediately on begin play to this. I think, oh yeah, is there no construction script in a actor component? I guess not. So this probably is the first time we could run this. Right, there's no construction. There's only this event. Okay, so what are the things that we could override? End play, interesting. Okay. All right, so once we have that, we're gonna break down our dash tag, okay? So the first thing we wanna do is launch the player. So let's grab, and this is kind of where we would say like we could launch the player and call that a dash. How do we want to do this? We could I think we should make them all functions, and then just link them together either in one event, or we can call it from our player, but that'll give us the most flexibility too, actually. So what are we gonna call this? I don't know, maybe we'll have other dashes, right? Okay, but this literally will launch the character. Okay, and we can't use this. We need to use this. Okay. And we don't have a dash distance yet, and we probably want the dash distance to just be part of the actor component. So we'll promote that to a variable. We're not going to set it. What if I compile it? Will it work? No. All right, we can do it here. Okay, should be fine. This still doesn't like this. Why not? Oh, we need another. So we got the owner here, and we need the owner to be here too. So that's one of the things about the actor component. You're just okay. So to launch a character, you can't use just a general actor. You have to use a character component, the character. So let's get the character as well. So we'll get the owner, and then we will. Can we cast it? Let's cast it. Okay. I think only a character is capable of being launched. So it has to be a character base class. Okay. I think I'm going to rename this just dash. Okay. Dash movement instead of dash attack movement, but it's going to have the ability to do attack. It's fine. All right. So this will cast to the character, and then let us promote that to a variable. And then if we fail this, I think I do want to like print out a log. I don't know if it matters right now, but and we don't have to print it out to the screen, but we could print a log that says dash component unattached to character. And I feel like if you failed this, you would have to disable this thing, but that would totally break the character that it's attached to, I would think. But this is probably good to have, at least in our notes here. All right, what's broken now? Our dashboard still. Okay, so we have, I'm just gonna call it, all right, we're gonna rename my owner. After looking at our style guide, right? So get my owner, or get my character, put it in here. So I don't know, I always kind of feel like the using the prefix my for variables is kind of weird, but it's all right. Okay. I always like to line up my blueprints along like one of these heavy lines. Okay, so now we should be able to launch the character. Okay, so in our player base, we're going to replace this with our dash attack. Okay, compile, save. I'm going to close this for a second because I want to rename it just dash movement. Attack is going to be one thing we can do. Okay, dash movement. All right, cool. All right, and now we're going to add the component. So let's see if we can. So yeah, so now we have it available as a dash movement component. All right, so it sits next to the character movement, and this will be how we dash. So now we should be able to just call it, I think. So, all right. Goodbye. Okay. And then so see here we have dash forward. So okay, it needs it, I guess. That's fine. So we get our dash movement component, and then we call dash forward. Now this should still make our character go. So let's see. Look at that. It did not do it. Huh. Okay, so we have to figure out why aren't we launching, right? All right, let's see. It should work though. The actor component should be able to. Ah, well, we don't have a dash distance. That's why. Okay, so current dash distance is 10,000. So we put that in here. We have it, okay? And then I would make this a public variable. And the reason would be, well, let's play. Let's make sure it worked. Yeah, so now we're doing it. Now we're dashing. Okay. And we're doing that. That movement is being controlled by the component and not the base character anymore. Okay. So one reason to have this as a public variable is we should. Is this used anywhere else? We need to. Okay, so let's see. Looks like we do use it in a second place, but it will be fine because we'll eventually get rid of it. All right, we're using it to determine the dash distance for when we're finding our text. So this stuff is going to move to the actor component too. So eventually we're going to get rid of this dash distance variable. Okay, and right now this variable is actually set to private. So actually, let's set that to private too. I don't know if they're still being used. It is. Okay. So in our, I'm not sure if it's viewable here or not. Let's see. Well, it's not where I wanted to see it anyway. Okay, so if you click on one of these are all actually base characters. And we don't want to look at the hit out. Okay. So if you look at this player base here, we should be able to find, we're still showing the out hits. Did I not save this? Compile. Okay, save. All right, now let's see. That's all. Sometimes it's like really hard to find stuff in these things. So what I'm looking for is like the public variables for this character. So like here's our character movement general settings. Let's see if I close this stuff up. Do I get one for our dash component? That's what I'm looking for. I think you should be getting a dash component. Let's movement component. Shape, character, camera, pawn. Are we at the very bottom? Maybe it doesn't show up on the main. Okay. I mean, you could edit it here, I guess. Dash distance. I thought it would show up on the main character, but it doesn't. So that's all right. Somehow the character movement script gets like has something in its C++ code, I guess, to get added to the main frame of stuff. But anyway, we can we can take this base class and like make a new player, and we can change the dash to whatever we want because it's a public variable. So whatever we change here will be changed inside this dash component for this character. So that's how that would work. All right, so we have our dash forward, and this could be used as just like a regular dash, and we don't even have to have attacks. But we'll still do that. Okay, and then And we can organize these variables into categories at some point, maybe. Let's go back to the player. So we've already cleaned up one piece. So the next piece we're doing is checking to see that's funny that the launch and the, well, I guess the, we don't actually care. The launch is going to get blocked by a wall no matter what, so I think that's why we can launch ourselves without doing this first raycast, I guess. I don't know if the launch itself it's being powered by the dash distance, but that's not really accurate. Like, I don't think the launch power is going the distance of the actual cast, now that I think about it. But we can fix that later. Let's keep going with this. Okay, so this is going to be the check dash distance, I guess, or something. I guess we want, do we want to be able to calculate? I think we do want to calculate all of this inside this this function. So move this over. We're going to grab all this, and what we want to spit out is just what is our dash target. So copy that. We'll create a new function. Ooh, Control B. All right, so there's gonna be a bunch of broken stuff in here. Let's see. So aim start, we don't have that. This is very specific to the character model of the, like, the next level down in inheritance from just my character. So, because this is very specific to a player base. That is a little too tight for me, I think. I think I would rather not have this. So how do we find a location on the character that's not added later? Yeah. Okay, so we need something here. Okay, and I'm going to use, for now, the owner. Oh, root component, interesting. Oh, because this is getting a scene component, which I don't know if that's. Anyway, we're gonna just do this for now. We'll comment it. This should calculate center of height or something like that. Mid-level. Alright, so right now it doesn't do that. Okay. Right now it's going to drag along the floor, which this may actually break it. We'll see. Okay. And then we break that up. We go through the sphere trace. Everything looks fine there. We have this other piece here with our dash distance again. Okay. And this is another place we could start hiding some of this code. Okay. Dash distance. Now this is actually being used as a distance, I think, because it's going all the way to the end. All right. And we're messing with the z value because we think that it's higher than it is, but it's not. Okay. And then here, okay, we need another dash distance. So this goes and hits the first thing in front of it using a sphere cast. This is getting the actor location, so we'll take our actor location. This is the animation start again. I think we do character owner. Okay, just do that. This is another place. We did this. Okay, and then, yeah, if you weren't here when I explained this, this basically is getting a raycast into the world, checking to see if our dash distance is unobstructed, and if it has any hits, it's going to make our dash target the hit location. And then if it doesn't have any hits, it will make the dash target the end of our dash, so, which is this. What is kind of funny is I just realized that we have the beginning of the trace right here. So technically we could probably skip all of this, because this is actually redundant from over here, kind of. I believe it is. Yeah. Because this is our target, right? Hit end. Yeah. So technically, I believe. All right, we're gonna just try this, just because we're not gonna be able to test it if it's broken. So I'm gonna replace all this with that trace end, because I think that's the same exact thing as what we just pushed through. So, all right, so now we need a return node. Okay. It's kind of weird that the functions don't just automatically have a return node. I read somewhere that it's like bad practice to not have one. So like in these blueprints, like there is one in the code somewhere, but you just don't see it in blueprints. So I don't know if you take some sort of hit for not having it. And we're going to return this value, which we will call dash target. Okay. All right, good. Oh, it doesn't like something. Yep. It's easy to forget that you've got to make sure every time you do any of this stuff oh, there's another one here. Okay. With the actor component, you're not inside the actor anymore, so you have to do it. All right, and we've gone across the border here, but okay, let's just, so this is get dash target, so we'll see if we can replace it now with, so now we're going to go through here, call the next function in our movement, and we're going to skip all the way to here. So to do that, I'm going to grab all this, move it down, and then we're going to do get dash target. All right. so far away that we can't even get it. Okay. Let's go. Let's move it up. All right. Okay. So the dash target would be the end, and then this would be the start. So that's fine. Then we'll connect. All right. So we've just like removed this whole piece of code here, hopefully, and we'll see if it works. Okay. So now we will know it works if this stuff spits out a whole bunch of stuff, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's definitely still, I guess it's, actually, I don't think it's working now that I think about it. Right, because isn't the is the raycast supposed to be going through? I forget. Let's go back. Okay. Let's just do this again. Put that back in. Put that back in, and put that back in. Okay, we're skipping our actor component just to see, does this actually work? Okay, let's see how they work together. We are running out of time. Okay, it does shoot across. It also shows red here though. Why is that? The other one was showing like a red circle. Did we yeah, we've got everything copied correctly. Okay, another thing we can do to test, we can stop it right here, right? You just go like this. Just see what we get. Okay, let's try that. Okay. I believe this works. The reason it should work is it should, on the second attack, it should, so let's, we could print this out maybe? Print. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. I don't know what this will tell us exactly, but if we're getting something other than 0, I guess. Yes, that's 400. Okay, wait. So the X is 400. 289. Okay, and that's 10,000. So, yeah, it's setting the dash target to the thing in front. Okay, that's fine. And then the other piece of this is pause. Can I not jump out of my? Can't eject. Okay. Stop. Play in the window. No, not that way. Play in the selected viewport. So like the cast is not it's not terrible. Is that because the player character, it's not resetting, okay. Is that because the player character's like center of mass is in the middle? Is that why? So it's coming from there, I guess. Okay. That's fine for this character. But what if the pivot point's all the way on the bottom? Which I think all of my characters are like that, so yeah. Okay, so this is working. Alright, and then so we'll just move this out of the way for now. It's always best to not delete everything that you've made so that you can put it back if you need to. Especially when you're doing stuff like refactors. Okay, so we'll put this in here now. Alright. I don't really like having this above. Okay, so the next piece is finding all of the hits and then processing them into an actual list of enemies or things that we're attacking, hitting. So we can do that. I think this almost, to me, feels very specific, like it's all the same. It's all part of the same thing. So inside the dash, we want another function called get dash attack hits. Okay. Is that confusing? I don't know. In light of all the hits that we hit with this thing. Okay. I like to think that the hits are just the one hit, but as we determined, it's not the case. Okay. Once again, this is just going to be the owner root component. And then we'll put a little comment. We gotta figure that out. Okay. It's fine for now, but what's the end? What do we do at the end? The end is from the dash target. Okay. Which we don't have. Okay, so this piece needs to get the end from, yeah, and we'll call it dash target. Okay, so we're going to plug in the dash target here. That's going to be the end. We could even have like our, we can make these like the radius of the sphere, like whatever we want. We could make it a variable, which we probably should. Okay, we'll keep all this logic in. This is pretty close to not all right, so I want to make this into a, it's not a local variable. I think it's a regular variable. Okay, that worked. Okay, so now we have our hit actors here as a as an array. Okay, I think that's all we need for that one. Nope. Okay, we were setting this for debugging. Do we need it? We can just pass it here. We don't have to create it. We don't have to make memory for it. I say we skip it. It's just like garbage, right? It's just all the hits. Okay, so we're just gonna pass it right to that. That should be fine. All right. All right, so now all this can go away too. So let's grab, put it here. And then the only thing I would do is grab this, pull it over. Okay, so now we're gonna break it. And we could have dash movement done multiple times, but now we're gonna do attack. Okay, get dash attack hits. Again, I think in the end this is all going to be wrapped into one function that's in the dash movement, right? So we'll do this dash attack as like do dash attack, and then all these things will just be calculated right in the same thing, so we won't have three functions being called. But we can break it down granularly like this, and then we have the ability to just use the dash or scan for all the things in front of us or something like that. All right, so I'm just hooking this back up so that I can see what we got. And I think we want our dash attack hits to actually return something, not just dump it here. So I guess that's fine that it is creating an array, but let's return anyway. And we can return the array. It doesn't hurt to do that. We don't want to return it here though. Okay. I want to return it down here. I guess in this case you could have the hit actors array be a local array for this function, and then you can return it, but it's probably fine, I think. All right. The other thing we need to do with this is we need to clear it out after we do the damage and stuff. So, okay. I don't like that this return node is all the way down here. Could put it back in the line with our other stuff, I guess. I don't know. All right. Perfect. Kind of. Okay. Anyway. It's gonna drive me crazy. I think it just changes based on how zoomed out it is. So now it's like, it looks good out here, and then in here it's bad. Okay. So. All right. So we have that. We're doing the loop. Oh, sorry, I missed El Ricky. Via education, expecting to do my practices in a company. Is it easy to find a job? I do not work in game development, so I'm a web developer. So I think there are jobs in web dev field, I think, but not sure how hard is in game dev. Yeah. Sounds hard. So, yeah. There's been a lot of like layoffs and stuff in the a lot of layoffs in the game industry and stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm just a solo dev that does this in my spare time, particularly at 6:30 in the morning, East Coast time, so US. All right, so now we're returning this, and sorry, El Ricky, if I missed your chat earlier. I don't know how much time has passed since you posted. How do I get out of this? Okay. Maybe I should like have the YouTube channel up. It's still doesn't say the like timestamps. Yeah, YouTube has something weird with their community guidelines, I think, about chats. I'm not sure. But anyway, hopefully this is okay. We are streaming here. All right. But yeah, it doesn't tell you the timestamps. Okay. All right, we're coming up on the hour. Let's see, or over an hour. Let's see if we can get this to work. So we're gonna return the hit actors here, mainly just so we can do a loop and print out what we hit, and just like we're doing before, and we'll see. And then it's gonna clear out this is the other piece that we kind of want to do somewhere in our actor component, because we don't want to keep adding to the array. So okay, we got nothing. Let's see. All right, so it looks to me like it's working like before, except I think this piece. Now we have 3. Now we probably have 4. Oh no, it adds unique, so it won't hit them again, actually. All right, I think, okay, one test that I need to do though, before we're finished, is I need to try to hit him through this wall. Okay, doesn't work. Good. All right. So that is a dash actor component. And now we can consolidate these into one thing, and we can remove all of this spaghetti here, and then we just have this nice, beautiful, probably one function call for our dash. Very much like this, add movement input stuff, right? It's like very simplifies your movement scripts. So that's what we're gonna have here. And then any other character that wants to have a dash attack, like we could put this dash attack on an enemy now, right? We just need to make sure that whenever we are looking at the owner of the object, we are basing it on like a very simple base class. So it could be just the character. If we got to a point where we really needed like this, say we needed this functionality of like not starting at the base of the character, like on the ground, because it's going to cause a block on the trace. Maybe we have like a base, instead of a player base, we have like a character base, which will be where our player base can inherit from and our enemies can inherit from. We have like some specific things to help with that, right? So we could add kind of like an aim start inside a character and just have that be all that base character has. And then we inherit from it. We add all of our specialty stuff to whatever else we're using, and then anyone who inherits from the base class would be able to use this dash. But I am trying to make this in some ways be like as portable as possible, like an actor component, so that I could say I'm going to migrate this to a new project and add it to a new character. So as decoupled as I can get it is what I'm going to try to do here. So this is pretty close, I think. And then the next piece of this is a dash. If you're doing an actual dash attack, it should probably do damage. So, and we can write up a simple function inside the dash movement to handle that. So it doesn't have to be on the player character. You don't have to have specific dash attack damage scripts on the character either. So yeah. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, so I will be doing probably my, like, I forget what I called it, but just like free time Friday, let's say. Basically, I try to explore something other than the main project. So the main project right now is the Samurai game, but on Fridays I give myself a break and I explore other ideas that I have, or old projects or whatever. Mainly I'm doing that to give my curiosity a chance to come out a little bit, so I'm not just locked into one project. I have a lot of ideas, like a lot of game developers. So, and one of the biggest problems for me and for a lot of people is you come up with an idea, you're working on a game already, the game feels stale, you've just been grinding away, you've solved all the interesting problems. I created new problems for myself for this one, so maybe that's good. But you get to a point where your game is like this, maybe, and you're like, this is exactly what I had in my mind, and that was about as far as I got, and now I need 20 levels and 5 hours of gameplay or whatever, and I have my one enemy, but I need at least 5 more enemies and a couple bosses, right? So like a ton of content. There's a lot of Blender animations you're gonna have to do, things like that. So when you get to that kind of content grind, which I'm not there yet with this game really, but I'm getting close, I think. You get the main mechanic done, you get the basic prototype up, you get to play with it, and now you're like, I think I'm done. But then you never ship a game, so I would like to ship another game. So the last real game I shipped was on Android devices, and it was like a little kind of Space Invaders-y game. And that actually I did sell commercially and made like $20 or something, so it didn't even cover the cost of the Android store or whatever. But and then I put an Asteroids game on itch.io for donation, so you can find me, Little City Studios, there if you want to buy that. Yeah, so would like to get this out in a couple months. So Fridays are kind of a release valve, get to play with something else. So I will probably be doing maybe more space game development. So space game's one of my long time kind of passion projects, but it's just too big. So trying to make smaller stuff, but noodling around with it on Friday sounds like a fun thing to kind of like exercise that demon a little bit. All right. The game normally doesn't have these raycasts all over the place, but that was for our testing. Cool. Thanks for tuning in. See you tomorrow.